Simon Taylor Robinson is a medical doctor and trained as gastroenterologist and hepatologist. Orli Rhodes Kendler is a registered dietitian who practices in London. She is passionate about food education and about coaching people to overcome their dietary problems. Rose Parker trained as a ballet dancer and has a long career in dance. He has remained physically very fit since retiring from the profession. The combination of these three very interesting minds and experiences gives birth to a new, very actual publication. The Antiviral Diet is the title of their book, published in 2021 in collaboration with Eurobooks. The authors are here today with us to show what their literary project is about. Hi, Simon. Hi, Orli. Welcome to Conoscere TV.
Hi, and thank you for having us.
First things first, we would like to know a bit more around the antiviral diet. What is it?
Well, I think that in the book I put together some of the medical issues surrounding what viruses are, how they affect the body, what the immune system is, and how the immune system naturally fights viral infections. Obviously not always successfully because we get viral illnesses, but we look at how some naturally occurring products can, in the diet, actually boost the immune system so that we can perhaps be in a better position to fight infections with viruses. And this goes not just for the current COVID pandemic, but also for all types of viruses, really, because the body has a limited way of being able to react, and there are ways and means that we can bolster its response. And Orli here has been able to put together some useful recipes that make use of some of the ingredients. A lot of them are herbs, for example, that have some known antiviral effects, particularly in the laboratory.
Yep, I mean, just add to Simon's approach. We're also very, very passionate about sort of eating a good, healthy diet throughout life. So if you are eating a good diet and you're getting all the nutrients that you need to get, all the vitamins and minerals, there is no reason why your immune system will not be able to fight any diseases or any illnesses, whether the viruses or anything else. So a healthy diet helps us stay in a good shape. And that's, I think, where Ross would probably say that exercise is also very important, because when we feel good about ourselves, we release hormones that have a good effect on our body as well. And we know that there is a fantastic connection between our mind and our gut. So what we feel here, we think here, and vice versa. So it's all, the body's one piece.
Yes, it's all about balance, I think. So what we do is conceptualize what health is, how the body goes wrong, how actually we digest food. So I go into the digestive system and also how the liver works and how everything comes together, so that we are able to take in food, digest it and use it properly, and how then certain foods are able to make sure that we're not deficient and that our immune systems aren't deficient. So, you know, there are things like vitamin C that we all know about, help with viruses like colds. In fact, somebody got a Nobel Prize for showing that. But from that point of view, there are a lot of other issues that we're able to put together to show that a healthy, balanced diet that is rich in certain foods are important. So it's not just citrus fruits that have vitamin C, but there are a lot of other things that we highlight, both in the medical side of things, the whys and wherefores, but also actually looking at all the different food components, and also looking specifically then having discussed all the food components at what the average person can do with some useful recipes, and also some easy to perform diet exercises at home. So the exercises can be things that one can do without the need for a gym, because in fact it's not necessarily just about eating well, it's about being able to utilize those energy sources and have a healthy body. And that means healthy joints, it means healthy muscles, and it means a healthy sort of lean mass to fat ratio.
One key word is balance for this book.
It's all about balance.
Absolutely,
yes.
absolutely. But it was really important for us as well that everybody understood that our body, as I said, is one unit and everything works together. So the food that we eat gets broken. The body is very clever. It knows how to break down the food that we eat and provide the body with all the nutrients that it requires. So a healthy, balanced diet is probably the key to many answers. But what we try and do in the book as well is explain what are the nutrients that we need? How are we absorbing the nutrients? Where do they come from? How can we access it? So the important thing for us was to provide the knowledge so people don't always fall trap to maybe fashionable messages that sometimes might not be as healthy as we would like people to sort of
or indeed messages that don't necessarily have any scientific background. So we've been careful about putting together careful messages that have some degree of scientific knowledge. So that it's backed up by what we need, rather than just being fads that are thought about on the internet, actually have no basis, for example. And there are lots of diets that are perhaps less than healthy because they exclude things. We do go into certain things that are not good in the body, and there are certain people who have food intolerances. There are certain people who are unable to digest types of food, and therefore we go into that as well and suggest that the ways forwards for specific diets, also in the light of food intolerances. For example, there are some people who are unable healthily to digest certain types of sugars and some of the starches and proteins that are perhaps present in some beans and pulses and so on and so forth. So we look at that, and we also look at the effect perhaps on some of the gut bacteria, because we are in harmony with our gut bacteria, and although bacteria sound alarming, actually part of our component of our body is about 1 kilogram's worth of gut bacteria, which actually help to digest our food and help us to live in harmony. And actually, if you have a change in the gut bacteria in a bad way, this affects our immune system. It affects our health balance, and it can lead to disease. So actually having the right foods put in the right way and individualizing it so that some people who do have intolerances can actually eat in a more tailored sort of way that is healthier for them. We look at that so that actually most of the recipes are are put together in the light of known intolerances as well. So those people who have things like gluten intolerance, or those who have intolerances to sugars, can still benefit from the antiviral diet recipes that we put together.
Very interesting and very helpful. I have some curiosity of the readers, though. When did this idea come up? And what were the very first comments on the book of your very first readers?
Okay, so Simon and I have worked together for many, many years. So we've both worked together in the British health system, in the NHS, in the same hospital. And we got to know each other and appreciate each other's work. And we always felt that we've got to work as what we call a multidisciplinary team. So it's very important when somebody comes to see a doctor or somebody comes to see a dietitian or they go and see a physio, is that everything is linked, because remember, it all goes back to the idea that we are one body, one person, and everything needs to work in harmony. So if we all work together as a unit and consider a person as a unit, then we can provide them with what we call the holistic approach. So we felt that we wanted to provide the medical knowledge, the medical background, how the body works, with understanding of what happens to the food that we eat, how our body utilizes the food that we eat, and how food can help us keep healthy, stay healthy. And in many cases, like Simon said, when you have intolerances or malabsorptions, then we can fix things around, because sometimes there isn't just a pill that you can take to fix the problem, like with celiac or with lactose intolerances. So sometimes the diet is the only cure. As I said, with exercise, it was also important for us to include the fact that it's not just what we eat, it's how we live, how we move around. So we are not designed to be stationary. We are actually designed to be a sort of a mobile unit, if you want to think about it that way. And just like a car needs more than just one component or more than just windscreen wipers, it needs the petrol, it needs the air in the tires to work well for the car to drive well. Our human body is exactly the same. We need the right fuel, we need the body to work well, but we need our legs to be able to carry us or just stay fit, because our hands are important, our body is important, the way we move, whether it's dancing or walking or anything, wheelchair tennis.
So to answer your question specifically, we have been thinking about this for a long time, but it really crystallized during the earlier parts of the COVID pandemic, and we realized that actually there was a need to put it out there that we can fight an awful lot of things if we are healthy. So it was a multidisciplinary thought process, but it's been generated for quite some while, but we actually came together during the pandemic. And what has been the thought process from other people who've read it? Well, I think they've been interested in that sort of 360-degree approach that we've taken to think about medicine, to think about food, to think about the diet, to think about the exercise, and a very few books put all of that together.
Okay, thank you, Orli. Thank you, Simon. Thank you for accepting our invitation to Conoscere TV. The Antiviral Diet by Simon Taylor Robinson, Orli, Rhodes, Kendler, and Rose Parker is now available in bookstores and digital platforms. It's a publication by Eurobooks.